Hey there, hi there, and hello, welcome back to Mike's Hard Reviews and Mike's Book and Booze Club. Today we are continuing our look at the Ultimate 90s Cocktail Playlist recipe book by Reader and Barajas with none other than 1990s George Michael's hit, Freedom 90. Now, Freedom 90 is the third single from the album Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, which was released in 1990, but was, oddly enough, as the third single released second in the US and Australia for reasons that nobody has been able to tell me. Now, the 90 at the end of the name Freedom 90, actually refers to a previous song George Michaels wrote for the band Wham! Back in the 80s, called Just Freedom. I'm sure you've heard both of them, and it's funnily enough the case that they are about each other in a way. Freedom 90 is entirely about George Michael's sort of reliving and retrospectively analyzing his experiences with Wham!, with fame, with the music industry, and weighing the pros and cons, positives and negatives of that, and how it affected him as a person. It's a really fascinating way to write a song, a really fascinating subject material for a song, and as a result, it actually got up to number 8 in the Billboard 100 after release and was certified gold by the RIAA. While it wasn't necessarily the most popular song George Michaels had ever released at the time, it was looked upon fondly then and continues to be so now, with a lot of lists that talk about singles from the 1990s, including this somewhere in the top 10, top 15, top 20. This is especially true when we take into account the intersectionality between music and the LGBTQIA+ community, because a lot of lists talk about George's connection with the LGBTQ community. If you didn't know, George Michaels came out as gay in 1998, and from that point on was a staunch and significant supporter for gay rights and HIV/AIDS awareness, which is really important in his case because a lot of people consider the person who was the love of his life, the person he was going to be with, actually died from complications of HIV/AIDS. As a prominent voice in a time period when HIV/AIDS and being gay in general was looked upon very negatively, George is a really fantastic example of a celebrity actually doing frontline work for the gay community and people suffering from a really terrible illness that to this day we still don't fully have a lack of stigma for. George did die of heart failure in 2016, but since then has been looked upon fondly for his work both as a musician and an activist, living a very troubled life, unfortunately, and it's a great thing then that we have the opportunity to honor him with this cocktail, which we're going to make right now. Now, before we go into making the cocktail, I want to say this is actually a batched recipe that essentially has you make a drink base, let it sit for 24 hours like a sangria, and then portion that out in measured amounts to top with sparkling wine. I don't need a pitcher full of fruit juices and spirits that will inevitably spoil on me before I can use it all, because I'm one person and I weigh like 135 soaking wet, so it will fuck me up. So I have respec'd this to be like a single serving drink that's sort of like a fortified sangria, basically. Let's talk about ingredients. For this cocktail, you will need apple brandy, peach schnapps, sparkling wine, simple syrup, peach juice, lemon juice, cut strawberries, and peach slices, and for garnish, we'll need some mint. Let's go ahead and shake it up. To begin, we will add our cut peaches and strawberries to our shaker. Over that, we will pour half an ounce of simple syrup, 1 ounce of peach juice, 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 1 ounce of peach schnapps, and 1 ounce of apple brandy. That will add some ice so we can shake it up. We will cap that up, tap that down, and give that a shake for 10 to 15 seconds to chill and combine. For serving, I'm going to grab a chilled tulip glass, and into that I'm going to pour a small amount of our sparkling wine. Then we'll take our shaker and just pour all of the contents into that. And then top it with some ice. For garnish, I'm going to grab a little bundle of mint, give that a squeeze and a slap, and then rest that down on top of the drink next to our ice. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Freedom 90. Cheers! Now, I'm unfortunately running against the clock here, so I do have to make this one a kind of quick tasting, but I have had this twice already, and I know what it tastes like, and it's pretty damn good. Cheers! Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so good. It is deliciously fruity, robust. That peach comes through nice and loud. The strawberry is a good complement to that. The apple brandy gives it this kind of orchardy feeling. It builds on the peach. It's not its own flavor. It blends in so well. And that mint on top is a nice refreshing little scent to tap your nose with. It is so, so nice. Of the cocktails we've made this far, I think it's also the prettiest one. Maybe not the most visually stunning. The Vogue looked really visually stunning. This looks very, home style and kind of like comfortable. but it's really pretty. It's got a gorgeous color to it, and that fresh fruit floating in there, that's gonna change the direction of this cocktail over time and add more flavor if it sits for long enough. Chilled tulip, full of ice, very important here, and you can sit with this for a minute. I, however, am going to go finish this very, very quickly. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, click the like button down below and subscribe to catch the next episode of the series, where we make the next drink in the book. I believe it's a song by Garth Brooks, who I don't know who that is, so we're both in for a journey. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, sláinte, have a good day.